Hey everyone, thanks for joining. A very warm welcome to the people watching. Today we're just going to have a quick walkthrough of the CX Core UI and show you how to maneuver through the application. So let's get started. So step one is to log in. You would go ahead and type in your credentials. All right, so as soon as you log in, you want to go ahead and run a scan first. So let's go ahead and head to the scans page. As soon as you're here at the scans page, you'll see two scans available for POC, which is single page and multi-page. Over here, you just need to understand two concepts of scan types. One is a rapid scan and the other one is a deep scan. So a rapid scan is basically a scan of the landing state of any application. A deep scan involves clicks, hovers, keyboard interactions, etc., and exploring of deep states in the application, where the URL doesn't change but the application state changes. So to begin with, we can go ahead and just click off rapid scan for a single page right here. The first thing to do is enter the URL of interest. Go ahead, copy that, come back over here and paste. You want to make sure that you add the HTTPS and www as well. Make sure you enter the full domain. As soon as you have this, on the right side, it will automatically ask you to add a new app. Or in this case, I'm going to say Vogue Fashion. Go and click on add an app, and the app has been created. Of course, you can enter a scan name optional, so I can say Rapid Scan VFS. And I can go and hit scan now. And the synthetic tester does the rest. Now the same thing can be applied for deep scan as well. You can enter the same URL, the app is already selected, and you can go and hit scan now, and that will run a deep scan. So let's quickly look at multi-page scan. So over here, instead of entering a single URL, you have the capability to upload an XML or a text file. Now for POCs, there's a cap limit of 5 to 10 URLs, so in this case, it's better to go with the text file option. A text file can be created with any type of text editor. You just have to make sure that you mention the URLs line by line. This can be done using a text editor, of course, or you can use Google Docs, paste the URL, file, download, text file. So once you have the text file ready, you're going to go ahead and click on this upload button. You're going to go ahead and select the application. In this case, I'm just going to create a quick one. So 3 flows, click on add app, and I'm going to go ahead and hit scan now. So automatically it will take the URLs that you've mentioned in the text file, and down here it's going to show you that it's going to scan 3 pages, and the rapid scan is done. So with this, the same thing applies for deep scan as well. You can use the same text file, the same app name, and let's say deep scan, and I'm going to hit scan now. So now down at the bottom, you'll see that a rapid scan and a deep scan are running. So a deep scan essentially, as it goes through multiple states of the application and all the elements in detail, it would definitely take a little bit longer than a rapid scan. Another way to view the scans is from the scans table. So over here, all the scans will be categorized by single page, full app, multi-page, or violations. In this case, we ran a multi-page, so when I expand that, you'll be able to see the scan ID on when it starts, the type of scan, whether it's a multi-page or a single page, and the subtype, whether it's a rapid or a deep scan. All right, so while the scan is running, let's go ahead and look at the scheduler page. Over here, you have the ability to schedule scans on various frequencies, such as daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. All you have to do is click on create schedule, and you can start off by selecting an app, enter a scan name, daily test. You can select the scan type, whether you want rapid scan or deep scan. And over here, you have the same functionalities of either entering the URL or uploading the file. You can upload the same file that we created and specify a time on when you would like the scan to start. So in this case, I'm going to say 6 o'clock in the morning, and you can specify when you want the scan to start. So I'll say starting on Monday. And you can specify a stop limit for the schedule. So you can either say it never ends, it's a continuous schedule, or you can specify a date on when you would like it to end. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and click on create a scan, and automatically you'll see that the scan is created. You'll see at the time when it's going to be run and the time when it's going to end. Any point in time, you can always come over here and deactivate the scan if you like. All right, so that was scheduler. Now let's go ahead and go back to the scans page and look at our scan. So in this case, the scan is done. I'm going to go ahead and click on the scan ID, and it's going to take me directly to the violations page. Over here, you basically have your app ID and you have different scan IDs. So if you have different scans that are being run, you'll be able to see all of them here. The first section, being the discovery section, will give you an idea of your overall health score. So this score is derived from various factors, such as the number of elements that we scanned, the violations that we found, and the severity of those violations. Next, you have the pages scanned, you have the number of elements found, the visible states that's found, in this case it's a deep scan, and also the scans that was run. This button right here allows you the ability to deduplicate violations. That means we have the intelligence to identify that a same element has the same violation, and this element occurs across multiple locations on the same page or multiple states or multiple URLs. For example, you have a header, you have a nav bar or a footer that's repeated across multiple pages. You have violation on the root page, you have violations on everybody else. So instead of looking at 867 individual violations, you can go and flip this deduplicate switch, which is usually on by default, and you would see that there are only 171 violations to look at. In the violations page, you also have the ability to select between WCAG 2.x or 3.0. So you can either do that from the checkbox here, saying show me only 2.0 and 2.1, or you can also do this from the filter tab from here. So over here, let's say I only want to look at 2.0, go and flip that, and you automatically see that you only have 90 violations to look at. You can slice and dice with all the violations that's found down below at this tabular column by selecting what you want to look at. So in this case, I only want to look at level A violations. Automatically, you'll see that there are 60. So the same way you can actually use this pie charts, you can go ahead and click to turn off a specific section. So in this case, I only want to look at screen reader. So I clicked on keyboard and color contrast, disabled them, and now I only have 58 violations to look at. While scrolling down, you'll see 3 sections on how we display these violations. One is we sort them out by URLs. So based on each URL, on the right side, you will see the number of states found in that URL and the violations pertaining to that particular URL. This also gives you the ability to look at URLs individually. So you can either just select this and you'll only see the results for vogue.com. You can also expand this, and if you have multiple states, you'll have multiple states under here. So you can select an individual state to look at for the violations as well. And everything that you select on top will affect the tabular column down below. At the bottom, we categorize them by elements. So you'll see that interactables on these 3 URLs have a specific number of violations. Down at the bottom, you have a list of all the violations in a tabular column based on the filters that you choose in the top. You also have the ability to add column. We have around 30 dimensions that you can filter the violations on. So at any point in time, you can turn these on or off, and you'll see them accordingly over here. Now all columns over here can be sorted. So for example, if I want to just look at severity, I can click on that and it will automatically sort this to ascending and descending accordingly. Another way to look at this is if you click on add column, everything where you see a magnifying glass can be searched over here in quick search. So for rule ID, let's say if I only want to look at focus visible, and it's only going to show me entries for focus visible as well. So over here, the first thing that we're going to look at is our dev tools. So we have 3 dev tools available. One is a replay, the other one is rescan, and the other one is validate. So a replay essentially means if you were using a browser agent to capture your flow, you can go ahead and click on this replay and the agent will automatically open a browser session and take you to that exact location of that violation. A rescan is where you want to rescan just that particular violation. So in this case, I can go to this particular URL and only look for that particular element and rescan it. The third and final is the validate button. So this button is if you want to sample a couple of violations to see where the location of the violations are, or to see what type of information we offer about the violation, you can go ahead and click on this. On the left side, on the top left, you have the ability to fit to screen or fit to origin. So when you fit to screen, you'll only get a vertical scroll and the width is actually fit onto the screen. So when I have not expanded any of these individual line elements, you'll be able to see all the violations together with bounding boxes around them. Now, if I want to click on a particular violation, I can go ahead and click on just that, and it's going to tell me the rule name and the severity of that violation. When I click on show detail, it'll give me information about the issue category, which is screen reader, the URL where the violation lies, and also an issue description of what the actual violation is about. So in this case, it's a nested interactive controls violation. You have to make sure that interactive controls are not nested, as they're not always announced by screen reader, or it can cause focus problems for assistive technologies. We also provide a remediation summary for this violation. So using a negative tab index on an element inside an interactive control does not prevent assistive technologies from focusing the element. At the bottom, you have the CSS selector and the HTML source. So along with the visual representation of that violation with the bounding box, we also give you the remediation summary, the issue description, and the code snippets for your developers to address them immediately. The tester can also assign notes over here. So assign to dev team 2 to better translate to the developers or to the concerned team. You hit save and this notes is saved for this particular violation. The same thing can also be achieved by dropping down on this particular violation. So if you expand over here, you'll get a quick text-only issue description, event sequence, and remediation summary along with the code snippets. At any point in time, you can actually select these violations. You can create a task and either rescan, push to guided validation for manual validation, or create Jira, and you can ship this out to any service ticketing application. As soon as this is done, you'll see that it's hyperlinked to that actual Jira ticket. So if I click on this, it'll take me directly to the service ticketing app, and everything that I showed you in the URL is followed over here, along with the event sequence, the remediation summary, the CSS selector, and the HTML source. And we also provide a screenshot of that particular violation as well. This has automatically streamlined the detection of the violations, the shipping of the violations to the developers to ensure that they know where the location of the violation is, along with what to do to fix it. Heading back to our UI, everything is built on an API layer. Now, you do have the abilities to also export this to CSV or a PDF. So everything that you see in this tabular column, in addition with all these fields, will be populated and sent to you via CSV. So this is the violations page in a nutshell. The second page that we have is guided validation. And this is where we house rules that cannot be fully automated. So in this case, the UI still remains the same, where you have the slice and dice features that were available in the violations page, but we automatically pinpoint the exact elements in question. So let's go ahead and look at this right here. It says that audio description pre-recorded. Check to see if it's available. Going to go ahead and click on validate the same way. And it's going to take me to the exact location of that element for manual validation. So if I click on show detail, it's going to tell me I have to ensure that there's an audio description or text or transcript for pre-recorded videos. It's going to tell me exactly where that location is. So I can go to that particular website, scroll down to that video, and start my validation. And the video definitely has closed captions. Now, of course, you want to run through the entire video to make sure that all elements are covered by closed captioning or subtitles. But in this case, I'm happy with the result. So I'm going to go down, hit pass, and hit submit and next. So this time it will give me an option to create a master deduplicate ticket. This means that I will create a single ticket for all violations of where this video is. In this case, this video does not have a violation. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit without ticket. So this manual validation of this particular video is going to be registered in the database. So when you do run a new scan or when you do have a new application layout, you don't have to revalidate this particular video. Now, if at any point in time, if the content does change or if it requires revalidation, you can go ahead and trigger this back into pending status through APIs by clicking over here manually by saying, hey, this particular element requires revalidation. Hit submit and next, submit without ticket, and we're good. Now let's look at another example. So this says headings need to be descriptive. Let's go and click on validate the same way. It's going to take me to that location. Now, in this case, we have to ensure that the control label and the text describes the meaning or the use of its associated control. So in this case, we do not have a control here. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and fill this violation. I'm going to hit submit and next. And this is going to ask me, do I want to create a master deduplicate ticket, a single ticket, or submit without ticket? I want to make sure that this is associated to the master ticket. I can do the same thing, click on master dedupe, and every instance of this particular element is automatically going to follow suit as fill, and it's going to create one master ticket. As you see over here, master ticket is created in Jira for the duplicate elements as well. So this is guided validation, where all the elements that are available here needs to be manually verified, and we automatically take it to the location. So in this case, you only have 41 manual validation checks to do for these 3 URLs. And once that's done, until and unless the content changes, you won't have to revalidate them again. Now, finally, we have the rules page. So over here, for every application ID, you'll be able to see all the rules that we're testing against that application. So if I change the rows per page to 100, on the left, you'll see all the rule names. We have Axe Core along with our own automation rules as well. You'll see that with a prefix of CSX. Anything that has a prefix of CSX is the rules that we have automated, and anything that has an Axe prefix is directly from Axe Core. So at any point in time, for whatever reason, if you want to create a custom rule set, all you're going to have to do is specify which rules you want to run against the application. And you can also create a master Jira ticket on any one of these rules by saying that as soon as this violation is found for this rule, you're going to go ahead and create a Jira ticket automatically. Now, the same thing in this rules table, you can also add columns. For example, if I want to look at WCAG and level, I can do the same thing over here. And on the top, you can either select to show only A or AA violations, or flip the switch and show even best practices. So it will have, along with level A and AA, it will also have good to have best practices. Now, there are tests which is denoted as type automated. The other ones you see as manual. So the ones that says manual is going to be in the guided validation studio until we automate that, and these requires manual intervention. And for everything else that says automated, it's just plug and play. Now, of course, for advanced users, you do have configuration where you can select the color contrast configuration and the focus visible configuration. For POC purposes, the default is recommended, but as value-added services, we can provide custom values as well. Now, last but not the least, you have the Home tab, and this is just a high-level dashboard of the scan again. So the number of violations found, which is not deduplicated. You'll see the health overview, where we stand in terms of issue category violations, etc. And you'll see violations by severity and violations by principle. So this, in a nutshell, is exactly how you would maneuver through the CX Core UI. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Gary or myself, and we'd be happy to assist. Thank you for your time, and until next time, take care.